What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Guiding Keys, the story of Kingdom Hearts, presented by the Unlockables podcast. As always, my name is Eric. I have been your host, your guide through the wonderful world of Kingdom Hearts and through the wonderful mind of series creator and director Tetsuya Nomura. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. It means so much to me that you're willing to tune in and check out the show wherever, whenever in time and space you may be located. It means a lot to me that you're here, checking out what is going on in the world of video games and checking out what is going on in the world of Kingdom Hearts. We are on to part 4 today, and I'm going to start this episode off with a little bit of a confession. I know over the past 3 parts of Kingdom Hearts 3, I've kind of been detailing my changing game plan for the number of episodes that are going to be coming out on Kingdom Hearts 3. I said I was going to do 2 parts on the Disney Worlds and then use part 4 to wrap up the rest of the game. And once again, I am here at the top of the episode to tell you that I am calling an audible because I just cannot remember how big this game is. And this game is very, very big compared to the other Kingdom Hearts games in the series. So I'm here to tell you that this will not be the final part in the series of Kingdom Hearts telling the story. This will not be the conclusion of the story to Kingdom Hearts 3. That's going to have to wait another part or 2. I'm honestly not sure at this point how many parts it's going to take me to get through Kingdom Hearts. I mean, I could sit here and do like a 3-hour massive episode, but that's not really conducive to my recording schedule with my son. So at this point, I'm here to tell you that I am not sure how many parts that Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to end up being. It is going to be more than 4. It is going to be more than 5. The story parts will probably go on for another 1 or 2 parts at least as we kind of close everything out. Then we have to do the Remind DLC. Then we'll do a wrapping it up episode. So there's at least like 4 more episodes of Kingdom Hearts 3 after this to get to the point where I want to with this game. And I honestly thought I was going to be able to do it in like 4 or 5 episodes. And I feel kind of like an idiot now for ever thinking that, because I just finished playing through this game for the second time being on my Steam Deck, and I'm starting to dive into some of the DLC stuff finally. And as I was playing it, I just remembered that the end does just kind of go on and on and on, and a lot of things happen at the end that make it difficult to get through in one episode. So that is the direction we're going to be taking the rest of these parts. It'll finish when it finishes. More episodes for you guys, more Guiding Keys stuff. I'm just trying to keep it shorter here so it's easier for me to edit. It works in better with my family schedule, and I can get episodes out a little bit faster. So sorry you have to listen to like 8 parts of Kingdom Hearts 3 to get the whole story, and they're coming out every other week basically. But maybe you just want to wait till they're all out and then you can just listen to them all the way through. It'll probably take you more than 1 work day, because at the rate things are going, this is going to take longer than 1 work day to kind of finish. With that being said, we're going to focus on the post-Disney World content today. We're going to start breaking down the story after we finish up the Disney Worlds, which we did in the last part. And spoiler alert, I guess, we're hurtling towards the conclusion. I told you guys that when the Disney Worlds end, we're basically fast-tracked to the end of the story, the end of the game here, because this is when shit starts happening in the story. This is when all the lingering Kingdom Hearts plot points that have been going on in the background kind of come together. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, without the risk of rambling, let's go ahead and dive into this part's story of Kingdom Hearts 3. If you remember last episode, we ended in San Francisco. That was the last Disney World that we ended up doing. Post San Francisco, things are speeding up, so hang on to your butts because we're in the back half of this game, and it's a sprint to the finish. We find our heroes, Sora, Donald, and Goofy, back on the Gummy ship when they receive an urgent call on the Gummy phone from Chip and Dale, who say they have lost all contact with Mickey and Riku, having been unable to reach them for a long time. Exasperated and concerned, Sora laments the fact that he isn't there, stating that he should have been the one to go originally. So their next step seems obvious. We need to get to the Realm of Darkness in order to rescue Mickey and Riku. But they have no way to get there, and Chip or Dale tell them that only King Mickey's Keyblade can open a path to the Realm of Darkness, because the Keyblade that he found in the Realm of Darkness during a fragmentary passage / Kingdom Hearts 1. Sora mutters under his breath, "May my heart be our guiding key," as he summons his Keyblade and holds it out, causing a gateway to appear in the fabric of space. They don't know where it goes, but they are determined to rescue their friends and charge forward without fear. Again, using Sora's heart as their guiding key, trusting that it will take him to where they need to go because of the connections that he has with his friends. After a white flash and a scene transition, our heroes find themselves on the shores of the Destiny Islands, confused as to why the gate would bring them here. It's because the waters of the Dark Margin touch the waters of the Destiny Islands, and that's where everybody is. Sora spots something partially buried lying on the shore, and as he approaches it to pick it up, we see that it's the famous Defender Keyblade, once wielded by Master Ericus, but more recently wielded by Master Aqua. The three are perplexed at the Keyblade's sudden appearance when Goofy offers another piece of sage advice, wondering if that maybe it was another guiding key. He said the thing, wrap it up, we're done here, title shot, let's go home, let's pack it up. Sora points it off in a different direction, wondering where it could possibly guide them to, when suddenly a beam of light emits from the tip, striking the small opening in the cliffside to the secret entrance, causing an incredibly ornate door to appear, the door to the Realm of Darkness. This scene is super convenient. It's an Ex Machina type of deal when you think about it, but you could argue that this is the connections in Sora's heart leading him to where he needs to go, as has been the major theme of this game. Perhaps Ven's heart stirred within him when he saw the Keyblade of his old master and friend. The three approach the doorway to the Dark Realm, determined to help their friends, but Sora, in an unusual move, tells Donald and Goofy they have to stay behind. They don't have Keyblades, and no matter how powerful they are, they would be no match for the Realm of Darkness. Donald and Goofy both protest here, but Sora actually kind of smartly appeals to reason here, telling them that if something happens to him, they would be the ones left behind to carry on and come to the rescue. With heavy hearts, Sora's two companions and constant friends agree to stay behind and watch Sora enter the Realm of Darkness alone. Cue the transition to a new scene. We're inside the Realm of Darkness with Riku and Mickey, and we get to see what happens to them here as they struggle against the Demon Tower. The swirling column of shadows knock Riku to one side, and they appear suddenly beneath Mickey, engulfing him completely and separating him from his Keyblade as it skitters to a stop on the shores of the Dark Margin. As Riku looks on, the shadows coalesce into a sphere of pure darkness, which begins to glow, and from that sphere, a humanoid figure emerges, wrapped completely in dark shadows. The figure walks over to Mickey's Keyblade and picks it up, and as it turns to face Mickey, the shadows slowly start to peel off like smoke, revealing a human visage as a female voice speaks. The camera pans up, and we see, at long last, Aqua, the master lost in darkness. But there's something different about her. Gone is her light blue hair and piercing blue eyes, replaced by the striking white hair and piercing yellow eyes that are the calling cards of darkness. Even her outfit is tainted by darkness, taking on a midnight black design, the tips of her fingers blood red. The darkness has taken her. She addresses Mickey in a monotone voice, filled with many feelings: despair, anger, frustration, sadness.
This Keyblade.
Is it her?
Mickey. You're too late.
Aqua?
What happened?
You abandoned me, that's what. Left me in this shadow prison for more than a decade, knowing what it would do to me.
I'm sorry. It's all my fault.
I reached this shore after endless wandering. Waited forever for help to arrive. But no one ever came. I lost my Keyblade, had no means of fighting my way back through the Heartless. You should have known I was stranded. Do you have any idea how lonely it is here? How frightening it is to have no one? All that's left in my heart is misery and despair. And now, you can share it.
Aqua's words touch Riku, who knows all too well what that feeling of darkness is. After clenching his fists, he rises to his feet and steps forward. Riku tells Aqua that he won't need any of her darkness, as he has his own. And we see a little flash of Riku in his subconscious, staring into a black void which represents his own darkness. And we see his younger self in his darkness suit from Kingdom Hearts 1, holding his way to the Dawn Keyblade, come forward. They stand side by side in what I can only take as a representation of Riku's acceptance of who he is and the mistakes he's made, not allowing it to define him, but rather making it a part of who he was and now who he is. Also, plot twist, this is actually the Riku replica who was the one that Riku left his broken Keyblade behind for when he left the Dark Realm the first time. We'll get to that in just a second. As we flash back to reality, Riku steps forward to face Dark Aqua and the Demon Tower, holding Mickey hostage. But even Riku and all his strength can't overcome a physical embodiment of the darkness and a Dark Keyblade Master. And as he's pushed back, exhausted, he utters his best friend's name, calling out to Sora. Suddenly, there's a flash in the sky above, a burst of light as a door appears. A streak of light comes rocketing down towards the surface, striking the shallow water as Sora appears, standing before Riku, and Riku cannot fucking believe it. The look he has on his face is just utter bewilderment. Before they can say anything, however, the Demon Tower rises up to devour them. But now that Sora is here, he and Riku use one of their signature moves where they each summon a half of a Keyblade, one light side, one dark, and they combine them. The combined Keyblades arc through the sky, striking the swirling tower of Shadow Heartless, disintegrating them with little effort as Mickey is released from his shadow prison and tossed to the shore. Riku attempts to run to the shore and check on his friend, but Aqua has no intention of letting that happen as she rockets towards the shore, closing the gap and getting ready to strike Riku. Sora, moving just as fast, gets there first and manages to deflect Aqua's attack, pushing her back. Sora looks back at his friend as Riku nods. There's an understanding between them as Riku goes to take care of Mickey, and Sora turns to face Aqua alone. This fight fucking rules. It's so amazing. First, this absolutely haunting and stunning piece of music begins to play in the background, a much darker and sadder version of Aqua's theme, and the emotions of this piece of music are accentuated even further as a stunning female vocal solo voice sings the melody over the booming orchestra, a musical representation of the pain, the sadness, the melancholy that Aqua is not only feeling now, but has felt through her entire struggle in the realm of darkness. So you fight Dark Aqua, you fight Anti-Aqua, which I think is her official name. I'm not exactly sure which one of those it is, but you fight her. And in this fight, Aqua utilizes a wide variety of her abilities that we are familiar with in our time playing as her in both Birth by Sleep and a fragmentary passage. Except this time they are turned on us with hostile intent. I know I've complained a lot about how these characters are handled in this game, and I don't particularly like how Riku and Mickey have struggled with this challenge up until this point, but this moment overall, the showdown with Dark Aqua, with the music playing in the background, sends chills up my spine. It sent chills up my spine the first day I played it. It sends chills up my spine. I just played it the other night. This is probably, if it's not my favorite point in the game, it's like top 3, and it's so incredible. This is the point. This is the struggle, the challenge to rescue Aqua. Sora defeats Aqua and in a final blow sends her flying back into the waves of the dark margin. The shadows are disintegrating off of her body. They reveal her usual design as she splashes into the water and begins to sink into the depths below. She's tired. She's exhausted. She's been in this place too long. And as she sinks down into the depths, she utters the phrase, "This is it," before closing her eyes, accepting her fate as she sinks deeper and deeper. But she hears a voice call her name. It's Sora's voice. Aqua opens her eyes and says his name as she sees his hand reaching beneath the water to save her. With her last reserves of strength, she reaches for it, grabbing Sora's hand in a flash of light. When the flash of light subsides, we see Aqua laying on the sandy shores of the Destiny Islands. As she comes to, her vision is blurry and she swears for just a moment that she sees Ven and Terra. But as her vision focuses, it's Sora and Riku who are standing over her.
Aqua! Aqua!
It's you.
Thank goodness! You're awake!
Mickey. Are these the Destiny Islands?
That's right.
When did they fall to darkness?
You're in the realm of light. You're home. You're home!
This part is so heartbreaking because Aqua still thinks she's in the realm of darkness because remember, in her adventures in a fragmentary passage, all that she's seen is the worlds from her past that have fallen into darkness. Riku smiles at her and shakes his head and tells Aqua she's in the realm of light. Aqua literally can't believe it as she sits in stunned silence, soaking in the rays of the sun as tears just begin to fall from her eyes. Donald and Goofy initiate a group hug as they all comfort her and welcome her home. And just like that, we've rescued Aqua. Again, I have issues with how we get to this point and how Riku and Mickey are treated, but this moment is so emotional. It's so incredible. It's such a hype moment. And I think the moment itself lives up to the hype that the fans, the community had, the expectations that they had for this moment. I mean, they showed Aqua falling into darkness in the trailer. We knew that a lot of people thought that she'd become an aspect of Xehanort because when you see the white hair and the yellow eyes, that's usually when you're an aspect of Xehanort. They call that getting Norted, Norted. But in this instance, Aqua had just fallen into the darkness because she had been there so long. Anybody would despair if you had been there as long as her. Anybody would, the strongest person would fall. The strongest person would give up. But she's rescued now. And you know what that means? Now that we have Aqua, we can be on our way to rescue Ven as well. Before we get more info on Aqua and what happens next with our main group of heroes, we get a bit of side plot with some organization shenanigans. The next scene involves the most unlikely duo imaginable. We see both Vexen and Demyx in Radiant Garden, and it appears that Vexen is trying to recruit Demyx to help with his redemption plan. Through this conversation, we glean a bit of extra information about the current state of the organization, that Demyx and Vexen are both riding the bench, as they both say, and aren't on the main roster of 13. Vexen makes it clear that he wishes to atone, and Demyx is like, bro, we didn't even talk to each other once in the prior organization. Vexen pleads with Demyx to help, stating that he can fly under the radar and that this way he will be useful. No benchwarming and no having to fight, which is honestly all that Demyx really wants. He wants to be able to contribute, but not have to do any fighting or dirty work. Demyx finally agrees to help, and we see the fruits of this conversation play out literally immediately in the next scene. We transition to the next scene, and we see Ienzo in Ansem's lab, commenting to himself on the progress they've made in reconstructing Roxas's heart, but that they still need a vessel for his heart. As if on fucking... And you're probably like, well, what do you mean they're reconstructing his heart? Remember, if you played Recoded, it was established that hearts can be contained in data. And Pence got the data from the Twilight Town computer that Ansem the Wise used in Kingdom Hearts 2 when he digitized Roxas and held him there while Naminé restored Sora's memories. He had copies of all that stuff. So he literally has a digital copy of Roxas on his computer, and with that they can use that data to reconstruct his heart, because hearts can be contained in data. Anyways, Ienzo's lamenting the fact that he needs a vessel, and as if on cue, this is where Demyx appears from a portal, carrying what I can only describe as something wrapped in a blanket. After greeting his former organization member, Demyx tells Ienzo that he's here to make a special delivery, in addition to the thing wrapped in the blanket, which is a replica, spoiler, and another individual steps out from the dark portal, much to Ienzo's shock and surprise. It's none other than Ansem the Wise. Ienzo is overcome with emotion because he was just a child at the time all the stuff with Ansem and Xehanort went down, and they all became nobodies. Ienzo said that the rest told him that Ansem the Wise had gone mad. Ansem doesn't accept Ienzo's apology. Ansem blames himself for what happened to all of them and makes peace with his former apprentice. Alias and Dylan are there too after hearing the commotion, and now all of Ansem's former apprentices, with the exception of Vexen, have now reunited. Although remember, it was Vexen who had a hand in helping Ansem escape from the organization. Always the master of perfect timing, Demyx interrupts the moment to make sure everything is good as he points to the blanket-wrapped present he brought with him, and Ienzo recognizes it as a vessel, a replica from Vexen himself, the very thing that they would need to restore Roxas back to existence. All right, after our brief organization intermission back to Radiant Garden, we return to Sora, Donald, and Goofy, who are accompanying Aqua in what we're assuming is her retrieval of Ven, since she's literally the only one who knows where he is. Goofy asks if Aqua is sure about this, and Sora mentions that they could take her back to Yensid's tower so she can fully recover, but she declines. Aqua insists that she's been keeping Ven waiting for too long, and our four heroes find themselves in front of the ominous Castle Oblivion. After taking a moment, she closes her eyes, reflecting on the long journey that she's been on that has finally brought her back here to her home and to her friend. She summons the Defender Keyblade and, pointing it at the door, breaks the seal that she herself put in place so long ago, the seal that created Castle Oblivion, the seal that has hidden Ven for all these years. The twisted puzzle-like shape of Castle Oblivion begins to slot back into place as the protection seal on the Land of Departure is removed, revealing the true form of the place where Aqua, Terra, and Ventus once trained under Master Ericus, the place where Aqua had hidden Ven. Our heroes enter the main hall of the building, and upon reaching the Great Hall, where the trio of thrones sit on a raised dais, Aqua sees for the first time in many years the place where she left her sleeping friend, Ven, sitting on the central throne as he had been since the end of Birth by Sleep. Aqua rushes over to him, touching his cheek, apologizing to him that she took so long to return. She tries to wake him up, but realizes it's useless as his heart hadn't found its way back to him. As this tender moment unfolds, who should show up to ruin it? But it's none other than Ven's other half, Vanitas. This is a chilling scene because it's the first time Aqua has come face to face with the personification of Ven's darkness since she fell into the Dark Realm.
That was a neat trick. Oh. No wonder no one could find him. Vanitas!
Why are you here?
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt your touching reunion, but surely you won't begrudge me a moment with my brother.
What?
So Venti Wenti wants to keep sleeping. What am I ever going to do with you?
Shut up!
You better settle down there, Master. Aqua, I'll handle him.
No. I'm ending this.
But you haven't recovered yet.
Sorry, but you've seen me too weak, too often. Now it's my turn to shine.
Sora insists on letting him take care of Vanitas, but Aqua declines and goes into full Keyblade Master mode. And this is another one of my favorite moments in this game. She tells Sora he's seen her too weak, too often, and that now it's her turn to shine as she turns to face Vanitas. She summons a barrier that cuts off Sora from both her and Vanitas. And here we get Master Aqua facing down Vanitas in a fucking incredible moment and an amazing boss fight where you control Aqua using her kit from Birth by Sleep. Vanitas also uses some moves from Birth by Sleep that are familiar, reminiscent to his fight at the end of that game. But god damn it, this moment is, again, so cool. And you have to remember, I've been playing all these like back to back to back, and if you've been binging these episodes, you're like getting all the story in a very short period of time. This was a moment we were waiting for like a decade almost, was a rematch with Vanitas. Or we didn't even know that Vanitas was going to be back, but we were waiting for Aqua to find Ven. We were waiting for these friends to reunite. We were waiting for these plot threads from Birth by Sleep to start tying themselves off and finishing and wrapping up. I can't even talk because I love this moment so much. We've been waiting for so long for these plot points to finally be resolved. And now here, Aqua is like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being weak. I'm tired of him being stuck in the realm of darkness. I'm tired of Vanitas' shit. I'm going to handle this. Upon completing the boss fight, it's clear that even in her weakened state, Vanitas isn't able to overpower Aqua, a true Keyblade Master. So instead, he begins to blast the barrier in front of Ven with magic, threatening to hit him as the barrier starts to crack like a pane of glass. Rather than let this happen, Aqua jumps in front of the final blast that would have broken the barrier, and she just takes it full force, knocking her unconscious. Vanitas laughs as he casually strolls over to Aqua, gripping his Keyblade with two hands as he gets ready to deliver the final blow right in front of a still sleeping Ven. Sora can only watch helplessly from the other side of the barrier, and he cries out to Aqua when suddenly we hear a loud heartbeat sound, and Sora's eyes grow wide as time slows down. We flash to a new scene, a dark void with a stained glass platform, a representation of Sora's inner heart. We hear a sleeping Ven's voice say that he has to wake up, with Sora pleading with him, asking Ven what to do.
I have to wake up.
Yes. Tell me what to do.
The power of waking.
I can't. I still don't have it yet.
You never lost it. It sleeps. Until someone needs it. Call to it.
I am calling. with all my heart.
Thank you for always keeping me safe, Sora.
Ven tells him to use the power of waking, to which Sora replies that he still doesn't have it. After all this time, all these adventures, Sora still does not have the power of waking. But Ven tells him otherwise. Ven tells him that he does have it, that he never lost it, and tells Sora to call to it with all his heart. As Sora does this, the stained glass platform begins to glow, and as the glow disintegrates away, it reveals the stained glass platform representing Ven's heart. Sora holds his Keyblade out, and a beam of light strikes the center of the stained glass platform as Ven's heart is released. He thanks Sora for keeping him safe as his heart blasts off into the darkness, off to return to his body at last. Back in the hall, Vanitas is still set to deliver the final blow when Ven's body begins to glow in his chair, causing Vanitas to hesitate. Ven rockets forward from his resting place, shattering through the weakened barrier, and clashes with Vanitas, causing a massive explosion that finally shatters the entire barrier. When the dust settles, Vanitas finds that he's now surrounded by 3 guardians and decides that the odds are stacked against him. He takes his leave, but not before taunting Ventus, saying that he's sure they will see each other soon. Sora rushes up to make sure Aqua is okay, and at long last, we have a meeting between Sora and Ventus. As Sora officially introduces himself, Ven is shocked at first, because Sora is the spitting image of Vanitas, and the scene even momentarily shifts to Vanitas' face to show the similarities. But after his initial shock, Sora and Ven shake hands, with Ven insisting that Sora call him Ven. Aqua and Ven then have a tender moment together where Aqua tells Ven good morning. And with that, we now have rescued 2 of the Wayfinder trio. Right, in the first third of this part. It's so crazy. I love and hate this scene at the same time because, again, it's so great to have Aqua and Ven be reunited. But as you'll see, this is the only, and I confirm this is the only time we see Ven and Sora interact in any meaningful type of way at all for the rest of the game. But again, this scene is hype AF, as the kids would say, with the fight with Vanitas and the long lingering plot thread of Ven's heart inside Sora finally tied up. So we finally get to the end of this crazy rescue arc. All of our characters reunite back at Yensid's tower. Let me tell you, it's really something to see all of these characters all together in the same place. By count of Keyblade wielders, we have our 7 guardians, and they are Sora, Riku, Mickey, Aqua, Ven, Kairi, and Lee/Axel. At this point, we still have questions about the whereabouts of Terra, and we haven't found a way to bring back Roxas, Xion, or Naminé yet, but it seems like Ansem and Yenzo are working on that, and it seems like this is the squad that we're just going to roll with to the final conflict. Yensid thanks Sora, Riku, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy specifically for helping to rescue Aqua and Ven. The whole gang gets a bit of a chance to interact here. Mickey apologizes to Aqua and Ven for being unable to locate Terra. Riku thanks Aqua for saving him and helping him out at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, and apologizes for being too inexperienced to come and save her faster. Aqua alludes to having met Sora before when he was just a boy, and is delighted to be reunited with Kairi, reminding her of when they met when she was a little girl in Radiant Garden. Axel then chimes in, and this is probably another one of my favorite moments in the entire game, because Axel is the voice of the fandom. Axel is the voice of the community. Axel is the voice of anybody on the outside looking in that is very confused on these games. is confused as to what the hell is actually going on, and Axel voices this. He mentions how Ven looks like Roxas or Roxas looks like Ven, which is very confusing in and of itself, and Axel says he'll have to explain that to Ven later. He also mentions how everyone already knows everyone apparently, and it's just a lot to memorize, and honestly, I get it, Axel. It's an insane amount to get memorized. But ever resourceful, Jiminy Cricket jumps up onto Sora's shoulder and says he's given everyone a gummy phone with copies of the story so far. See what I did there? That way they could catch up with what was going on, which is super convenient. So Jiminy Cricket basically did his own Guiding Keys series in the gummy phone's notes section so that everybody could catch up with what is going on. After a bit more talking back and forth, Yensid tells them that they'll have a day to recuperate, and that the day after that, they will journey to the fated place, the Keyblade Graveyard, to face their destiny. And from here, we're going to spend a few moments catching up with different groups of characters before the final battle. So first up, Aqua and Ven are finally going to have a little bit of time to talk here.
The stars here are so beautiful. I noticed it when we arrived.
Yes?
We've gone without this for so long.
I know.
I remember dreaming a lot. Of you and Terra. Of Sora and his friends too, I think. And there were some more people I didn't recognize. Oh, and I saw these weird animal creatures. It's like I've been part of some big adventure.
I've been places too. But pretty soon, things will be back to normal.
Let's share stories when Terra's back.
Aqua and Ven head outside of Yensid's tower to have some time to catch up, with Ven commenting on how beautiful the stars are here. And remember, at the start of Birth by Sleep, all three of those characters say in unison after the tutorial opening, that would be the last night we all spent beneath the same stars. And I just love that that's like the first thing Ven mentions. It's like a full circle moment. Ven pulls out his wayfinder that Aqua made for him and holds it up to the stars, and Aqua does the same. They don't say too much. I think they just enjoy having each other back after all these years in a strictly friendship, platonic way. Before we move on to the next few characters, I'll lump it in with this part here. We have an intermission scene with Maleficent and Pete. We haven't seen them since several Disney Worlds ago. Pete laments on how they've looked everywhere for the box, but they have been unable to find it. And Maleficent actually agrees with him. She decides they can stop their search for the box does not exist at this moment. Pete's confused about this, as he understandably would be, but Maleficent continues to exposit here. She mentions how light and darkness are about to clash at the rapidly approaching Keyblade War, and at that moment, the box shall appear. Pete still doesn't get it, but follows her anyways as she walks off into a dark portal. Next up, we're going to spend some time with Axel, and somebody who might surprise you. We transition to the next scene, where we see Axel sitting on the clock tower of Twilight Town, as he would do so often with his friends Roxas and Xion during their organization days. He laments how he hasn't been able to help Roxas yet, as he eats a sea salt ice cream bar, and he holds two other sea salt ice cream bars in his hands, which just breaks my heart. It truly crushes me, because one is for Roxas and one is for the person that he doesn't remember. It's just so heartbreaking. Suddenly, and rather unexpectedly, Cyax appears, surprising Axel. But Cyax just sits on the ledge with him and tells him to relax, that he hasn't come to fight, as he takes one of the ice cream bars from Axel. He questions why he bought 3 and if one was for Roxas, and Axel just tells him that he felt like it. And then we get some rather interesting Axel and Cyax lore that I honestly wasn't expecting out of this game. Remember, they used to be the kids, Isa and Lee. Ven even meets them as kids during Birth by Sleep. Cyax mentions how when they were kids, they used to sneak into the castle where Ansem the Wise lived, and when they did, they made friends with a girl who was being held there. Ceyx then reveals that in order to rescue her, they apprenticed to Ansem the Wise. Axel retorts that they failed because one day she was just gone, and Ceyx accused Axel of giving up. Axel denies that he gave up, saying that one day they were apprentices, the next day Ansem the Wise had vanished, then the next day they were nobodies, and the day after that they were working for Xemnas. That's how fast it happened. Ceyx counters by saying working for Xehanort's nobody was the only way to find out what happened to this girl who was their friend, but when pushed by Axel if he had discovered anything, Ceyx said there was no trace of her, and that she was gone for good, just like Roxas was. And after accepting this, Ceyx realized that he had a new purpose, to become stronger. Axel is irritated and tells Ceyx to get lost, that he'll kick Ceyx's ass tomorrow, basically. Ceyx smirks and says he's expecting nothing less and takes his leave. So this is the third time that this mysterious mystery girl has been brought up in this game, right? Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, mentioned it when he went and got Ansem the Wise from the Realm of Darkness, and mentions it again when they go to the mysterious mansion. And now Ceyx and Axel, in a surprising reveal of some of their backstory about how they ended up in the original organization, also comment on how when they snuck into the castle, there was a girl there. So multiple times that this mystery girl has been brought up during this game. It was bothering me. So I finally had to look it up because I could not for the life of me remember who this mystery girl was supposed to be. This girl, who both Ansem and Axel / Ceyx are referring to, is known as Subject X. And when we go through the secret journal / glossary entries, we'll learn more about her. But for now, all you need to know is she was a 15-ish year old girl with black hair who had lost her memories. She was one of the main test subjects for Terra Xehanort's cruel and inhumane experiments. He was trying to restore her memory, and in the process, Terra Xehanort ended up restoring some of his memories as well. Axel and Ceyx, as kids, apparently snuck into the castle, as mischievous youngsters do, made friends with her, as well as becoming Ansem's apprentices in order to eventually rescue her from these experiments. But that's when everything goes sideways, as Ansem disappears, this girl disappears, and Xehanort turns everybody into nobodies, and now Axel and Ceyx are working for Xemnas to discover what happened to her. All I know for sure right now is that we've been told Subject X is someone we know from this series. And I don't remember if Nomura has hinted at that in an interview or we get some piece of information, but we've been told that we know who Subject X is. And it's not Kairi. She was a little girl at the time and Aqua met her. So we get some background information as to how Axel and Ceyx ended up in the organization and their motivations, but this is never mentioned in any other Kingdom Hearts game, even going back retrospectively. So it feels like this is kind of like a mini retcon, like Nomura's just shoving more mystery crap in there. But hey, we're gonna roll with it for now. We scene change once again, and we're on the Destiny Islands. I mean, of course, this is where we would be back here for Sora, Riku, and Kairi. At first, we focus on Riku, who is sitting by himself on the beach near the water. Except as the camera pans, we see he isn't sitting by himself, but rather he is sitting with his younger self. And his younger self is in the Dark Riku form that we see in Kingdom Hearts 1. The conversation that takes place between them confirms that this is the Riku replica from Chain of Memories. And I may have mentioned in earlier parts that this was like the dark form of Riku that represented his inner darkness, but no, this is the Riku replica from Chain of Memories.
How long have you known that I was with you? You did save me. I think you came along for a reason. I didn't make much of myself as a replica. I was a failure, and after you and Sora moved on, my body fell to ruin and the darkness took my broken mind. I was all ready to give up and let it happen, and then you showed up.
You took that as a sign?
Maybe. I'd rather face my end with you than in darkness. That's what you want? Yeah. But I'm not done yet. Got one last thing to see through.
The Riku replica, or Repliku as he's known by the community, goes on to recount how after the events of Chain of Memories, his body and mind were broken and fell into darkness, but he came back to himself when Riku left him his broken way to the Dawn Keyblade after the replica saved him from the Demon Tower during their first visit to the Realm of Darkness, which was earlier in the game. Repliku then appeared to and joined with real Riku when they confronted Anti-Aqua in the Realm of Darkness. And now on the beach, Repliku says that he would rather face his end with Riku than fade into darkness, while also mentioning that he had one last thing to see through. As the camera pans away from Riku, it settles on Sora and Kairi, who are sitting on the familiar vertical tree trunk watching the sunset over the Destiny Islands. From their point of view, Riku is alone, and Sora wonders why, with Kairi saying that Riku said he needed some time to himself. And finally, we get some time for Sora and Kairi. Not wasting any time, Kairi gets Sora's attention and hands him a Paupu fruit, the famous star-shaped fruit of the Destiny Islands. Sora is caught off guard, and Kairi simply tells him that she wants to be a part of his life no matter what. This is a very tender moment, and it has a pretty big visual component throwback to the first game, so I won't include the cutscene audio. When Kairi tells Sora this, Sora smiles and vows to keep her safe, and Kairi shakes her head, saying that she'll be the one to keep Sora safe. This is where the scene flashes back to the wall drawing in the secret place that Sora did of the two of them exchanging the Paupu fruits. And as the scene flashes back to them, they have each taken a bite from one of the Paupu fruits that the other is holding. And according to the Destiny Islands legend, people who share a Paupu fruit, their destinies become intertwined forever. So again, obviously, Sora and Kairi care about each other very much. This is like the confirmation. This is like the most PG confirmation way that they want to be a part of each other's lives without including any kind of very heavy romance or like kissing or anything like that in a kid's game. This is basically like confirming that they want to be with each other. They want their destinies to be intertwined, regardless of what ends up happening the next day. At last, the fated day at the fated place is upon us, as our heroes travel to the Keyblade Graveyard, where all Keyblade wielders leave their mark on fate. There are no words spoken, except by Mickey telling them all that the time has come. The wind howls and blows dust across the barren landscape, and from within that dust cloud, a silhouette appears, slowly approaching them, as the elderly visage of Master Xehanort slowly becomes visible for the first time in Kingdom Hearts 3. He welcomes the Guardians and talks about the history of the first Keyblade War, wondering that if the ruin of the Keyblade War brought about this creation, then what would another Keyblade War bring? Will they be worthy of the precious light the legend speaks of when the darkness falls? And here we get cameos from all the other aspects of Xehanort / major players of the organization, as Ansem, Xemnas, Vanitas, and young Xehanort all appear one at a time to address them.
Legend has it that darkness once covered the world. We know so little about the Keyblade War, only that it was just the beginning. If ruin brings about creation, what then would another Keyblade War bring? When the darkness falls, will we be found worthy of the precious light the legend speaks of?
Or will all of creation be instead returned to the shadows? Today we will recreate the legend and see.
But first, your light shines far too brightly. It must be extinguished in order for the truth to be seen.
Only when your hopes have been broken by battle upon battle can the key be claimed to Kingdom Hearts.
And break you is what we shall do. It has been etched.
The 5 aspects of Xehanort start emanating a vast darkness from them as the sky turns black and Heartless begin to fall from the sky, flooding the battlefield. The Guardians of Light find themselves immediately surrounded by a horde of Heartless, Nobodies, and Unversed. They all summon their weapons and begin to fight as a massive Heartless battle reminiscent of Kingdom Hearts 2 begins. Cool moment in the game, but this is very clearly a huge nod to Kingdom Hearts 2. Like, hey, nod, nod, wink, wink, you like that in this game. How about now? We need to hit all the greatest hits in 3 because you loved all this stuff in the whole series, but it's got to happen this way. But as Sora, Donald, and Goofy, you fight hordes of Heartless before you get a situation command for an attraction flow ride, the big mountain coaster, which is the attraction attack that we saw before in Hercules, and you basically blast the mass of Heartless to smithereens with the roller coaster to clear the event. With the horde of Heartless dealt with, our heroes regroup, and Sora goes to lead them deeper into the Keyblade graveyard. But they don't make very much progress, as just after a few moments, they find their path blocked by a familiar face. There in front of them, head bowed, is the tall and strong familiar frame of none other than Terra. He doesn't look like Terra Xehanort, though. He sports brown hair and blue eyes, just as he did in Birth by Sleep. I cannot understate to you the immediate effect this has on the Guardians. They handled the whole horde of Heartless battle no problem, but this completely catches all of them off guard. They were not expecting this. As soon as Ven sees Terra, Ven calls out to him, rushing up to him and grabbing his friend's hand. But Terra doesn't notice. His arm remains limp at his side, his gaze unchanging as he stares at the ground, seemingly ignorant of Ven's presence. Aqua rushes up to him and asks Terra if he's in there, pleading with him to hear his friends, and Terra's gaze shifts to her, his unblinking eyes widening. Aqua grabs Ven by the shoulder and pulls him back, telling Terra that she knows it isn't him, and demands that whoever it is give their friend back. Terra lifts his head, and as he does, he begins to change. His hair changes from dark brown to bright white, and when he opens his eyes, they are no longer blue, but piercing yellow, the same as Xehanort's. It is in fact not Terra, but the body of Terra possessed by Master Xehanort, Terra Xehanort, or Terranort as we call him. He begins to glow with an ominous dark aura, grinning in the most malicious way possible.
Today is the day you all lose.
What?
Before you even face the 13, every last one of you will be torn heart from body. But fear not. The Keyblade will still be forged.
We're not gonna lose to you.
Terranort flashes an evil grin once again as he summons the Keyblade of Master Xehanort. And this is where shit hits the fans for the Guardians. Things go sideways so fast. He disappears in a blink of an eye, reappearing in front of Ven before anyone can react as the scene shifts to slow motion. Winding up his Keyblade, he strikes Ven right in his core with a massive swing. Aqua can only look on as her dear friend that she just reunited with is sent flying back several feet, where he skids to a stop, motionless. Aqua can only run to see if her friend is still alive. Meanwhile, Sora summons his Keyblade and charges Terranort. Unamused, Terranort stops Sora's Keyblade, catching it in an orb of darkness before blasting him back. Xehanort, wasting no time, immediately turns on Kairi and very quickly closes the gap, winding up for a devastating blow. But Axel intervenes, clashing his Keyblade with Xehanort's with a force that sends Axel flying back through a rock. Xehanort now stands before Kairi, raising his Keyblade up to strike her as she can only sit there frozen. Sora cries out and manages to reach her, with only enough time to hug her, his back to Xehanort, to try and protect her from what would surely be a killing blow. As Xehanort brings his Keyblade down, however, Goofy manages to get there just in time, using his stout shield to deflect the blow, which sends both him and Xehanort flying back. Donald capitalizes on this moment before Xehanort recovers, clutching his wand tightly as magical sigils begin to glow on the ground around him in a divine circle. Summoning all his strength, Donald uses the ace up his sleeve, and despite cries from Goofy and Mickey not to do it, casts Zeta Flare, which is canonically the most powerful spell in any Square Enix game ever. Zeta Flare is the attack that ended the original Final Fantasy XIV, used by Bahamut to devastate Eorzea? How do you say the world that 14 takes place in? I have no idea. I wrote it confidently in my notes, confident that I would be able to pronounce it, but I can't pronounce it, so whatever. From Final Fantasy XVI, Dion, as the icon of light, is able to transform into Bahamut and also uses it, but uses it as Bahamut. So I don't really see this as being the same thing. This canonically makes Donald Duck the most powerful mage in all of Square Enix canon, able to use a move that has destroyed continents and worlds. Donald Duck is as strong as Bahamut at least, and no other spellcaster in any Final Fantasy game or Kingdom Hearts game across Square Enix's lineup has ever cast a more powerful spell. Donald Duck reigns supreme above all magic users. As the dust and light from Donald's apocalyptic move settle, things are still for a moment. The attack had hit Xehanort head on and looks to have completely disintegrated him. Donald stands there for a moment in his casting pose as Sora tries to make sense of what just happened. But Donald falters, lets his wand fall from his hand as he falls to the ground while Mickey and Goofy rush to his side. Sora remains standing in place. He is in stunned disbelief as we take in the scene around him. Xehanort is gone, but the Guardians have been devastated. Aqua is with Ven, who is not moving. Riku and Kairi are with Axel, who is propped up against a rock. And Goofy and Mickey are with Donald, who is also out of commission. Sora tells himself in a shaky voice that this can't be happening. They haven't even faced the entire organization. They were utterly unprepared for just Xehanort. At the spot where Xehanort fell, a massive pool of darkness remains, and it begins to grow and spread over the ground as out from the center erupts the Demon Tower, the swarm of Shadow Heartless that writhe and swirl through the air. Riku sees his friend Sora stunned. Leaving Axel behind, he runs up to his friend to try and rally him. He tells Sora that their friends are okay. They haven't lost their hearts, but they have to be protected. And as Aqua joins their side, the three Keyblade wielders step forward to face the swirling mass of darkness. Mickey protests, saying that they need to get the fuck out of there right now while they still can. But as he says this, more and more streams of shadows appear from around the Keyblade graveyard. They're joining with the Demon Tower as it grows in size. Riku tells Mickey it's too late for that. They have to make a stand here. The three Guardians stand to face the growing vortex of shadow and darkness, but it keeps growing and growing and growing, transforming into a massive tornado of darkness that stretches miles into the sky. It's like how you see those F5 tornado videos in the Storm Chaser videos. This thing is absolutely massive. The camera pans to Aqua as she sees what's happening, and the look of defiant courage very quickly vanishes from her face. She realizes they can't win. What they are facing is impossible, a physical manifestation of darkness so powerful that it is a force of nature. It can't be, is all she utters under her breath, and her grip on her Keyblade relaxes as it lowers in her hand. Suddenly, a stream of shadows erupts from the tornado, enveloping Aqua, pulling her into the vortex itself. She is gone before Sora and Riku can even blink. And then one by one, this happens to the other Guardians as shadows snatch up Ven first, then Donald, Goofy and the King, and then Kairi and Axel. Sora sees Kairi flying past him and makes a desperate attempt to grab her hand, but he misses, and she, along with all their friends, are dragged into the mass of darkness. They are gone. Sora drops his Keyblade and falls to his knees, letting out the most guttural cry we've heard Haley Joel Osment give during his time as Sora, a truly, truly shocking expression of anguish. Sora has been through a lot and kept his composure for a lot of it, but the loss of his friends breaks him. He knows they are gone for good, as tears begin to stream uncontrollably from his eyes.
Sora!
They're gone. Kairi, Donald, Goofy, the King. Gone forever. What do we do? Without them, all my strength came from them. They gave me all of it. Alone? I'm worthless. We've lost. It's over.
Sora, you don't believe that. I know you don't.
Truly the lowest moment we've seen for Sora in the entire series. Riku kneels beside his friend, unsure of what to say, but Riku clenches his fists and slowly rises to his feet, telling his friend, Sora, you don't believe that. Riku turns toward the dark maelstrom, the force of nature that swirls before them, and he walks forward to face it with all the poise of a Keyblade master. A stream of shadows ushers forth to consume him, just as it had done to their friends, but Riku is defiant. He plants his feet, raises his Keyblade, and stabs it forward, scattering the shadows before him as they rush in an unrelenting barrage to meet his blade. Sora can only watch in horror as his friend lets out a yell of defiance, rage, frustration, and at the point where his blade meets the shadows, they begin to overwhelm Riku as darkness begins to emanate off his skin like smoke. Sora can only watch and slowly reach out his hand towards his best friend until the shadows overwhelm Riku completely. We only get a brief moment of Sora's expression as the shadows race towards him, a look of fear and despair we've never seen on his face before, until the shadows reach him, and then the screen goes black. The screen remains black as white text appears against the black. One sentence, one quotation is all it says. And so, as foretold, darkness prevailed and light expired.
Checkmate. And so darkness prevails, and light expires. You need a new strategy.
My move, isn't it?
Huh?
It's not over.
Come on. That's not fair. I know I had you.
Yes, you nearly did. But a game's no fun if you know where it's going. There's more to light than meets the eye. I told you. Some light comes from the past.